Hello YouTube, I'm Dr. Tactical, and today I want to talk to you about the HK P30SK, the LEM model. This is a gun that I have had for about a decade, and it just keeps coming back into my rotation. Just when I buy another gun to up my game, this keeps finding its way back. And I really want to talk about it, and that's what we're going to do today. I'm Dr. Tactical, and the doctor will see you now. Welcome back to the channel. Those of you who are new to the channel, welcome to the channel. I hope you like what you see, and if you do, please hit that like button. We are running a special this week. It is completely free, no cost to you whatsoever. If you hit that subscribe button, you get a free subscription to Dr. Tactical indefinitely, but you got to hit it now. Waiting? Perfect. Okay, we can move on. Oh, by the way, those of you who have already subscribed, do not hit that button again, because apparently that unsubscribes you. And incidentally, apparently YouTube randomly unsubscribes you. So if the button says to subscribe, you probably haven't subscribed. So go ahead and hit it. If it says unsubscribe, hit it again. Get back in. All right, enough on that. Take advantage of the special. All right, let's talk about this gun. So I bought this years ago. Now this gun is roughly the size of my Glock 26. It's a little chunky. It's not quite as big, but it's it held a 10 round magazine, flush. Everything's empty. Everything's been checked. So it's a nice, small, compact, but wide gun. However, what sold this gun to me was the ergonomics. This gun just melts in my hand. So I've got 10 rounds, 11 with one in the pipe here, and it's so comfortable to shoot and comfortable to hold. And this is with my pinky not even fully on. We have all kinds of extensions. And nowadays, with all the technology going on, thanks to SIG and the P365, which really started a revolution, if you will, for smaller guns, they took the same size magazine and now it holds 12. So flush magazine, and now I'm holding 13 rounds. So about it's either this or my SIG P365 XL. But I got to tell you, when it comes to holding this thing, it just melts. I'll tell you right off the bat, the only negative I have on this, two negatives. We'll get those out of the way. It's thick, so concealing wise, but it does something that sort of makes up for that a little bit, and we'll talk about that in a moment. The other thing is, if you want an optic on it, to the best of my knowledge, you can't get this pre-cut out. You can send it in and get it cut out, but otherwise it's iron sights only, and which quite frankly is just fine with me. It conceals nicer that way. I love the gun like this, but I have gotten into red dots, and I do see the value in them. So I may consider sending it in. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to screw up all the holsters I have for it, though. You know how I hate to spend money. All right. Anyway, so what really makes this gun kind of shine is also this LEM trigger. Now, a friend of mine has the exact same gun, but his is the double action, single action. Interesting. So I took them both to the range. We are at my home away from home, the Country Club of Maryland, where I'm going to compare these two guns right now. They are both HK P30SKs. This one is the double action, single action. I forgot which variant it is. I'll look it up and post it right here. So this variant has a decocker but does not have a safety. Enforcement modification. Great gun. So I've had this, like I said, for about 10 years. This one is on loan to me from from a friend of mine, and I'm going to compare them. By the way, those of you who asked in the last video that I wore them, these are my Magna lenses. I love these things. I've been wearing them pretty much since SHOT Show when I got them. Really love these things. It's nice. They're on a magnet, So they, boom, just stick to the headphones. You put these little adapters on, and it's a very well thought out system so you don't break the seal. I want to save what little hearing I have left. All right, so let's look at the LEM first. This is the one I'm most familiar with. It is a double action only gun. It's already cocked right now, so I'm just going to pull the trigger. So now it's no longer cocked. You're saying, what? Cocked? It's in double action. Well, you're saying that because you're used to something like this Kimber K6XS. So a double action on this is a full stroke, consistent with every shot, and it's fairly heavy. I mean, compared to what I'm about to show you. Now, the double action on the LEM is fairly heavy. Unless you've got one in the chamber. Now notice the hammer is down, it is a double action, but the spring is pre-cocked. So now, that shot is very light, and when it cycles, same thing. The double action, single action, got a decocker here. When it's decocked, it is a heavy pull. Now, the LEM has a heavy pull unless it's been cocked. And this is important because if you need a second strike, say you pulled the trigger and you had a light primer strike, you can pull the trigger again as many times as you want and keep pointing in a safe direction, and you should be fine, and hopefully you'll get it to go off. All right, so let's cock this. This is the interesting part. So when I hold the LEM modification here, the LEM, and I pull the trigger back, and then it fire, and hold the trigger to the rear. Now the gun will have recycled, or cycled rather. When the gun cycles, now the hammer's still back with my finger on the trigger. If I let go of the trigger, it goes forward. So if I ride it back to the, boom, I've got a nice crisp reset. And then I got a little bit of a pull, and then boom, it breaks. So the question is, how does that compare? Actually, hold on. How does that compare to this reset? Little bit back, and it breaks. Okay, well, without a bullet in it, I would say it compares pretty damn similarly. Let's look at them this way. But let's look at these guns together. All right, and let's follow the trigger. The reset's very similar. Let's go back. It's hard to tell because I'm right-handed, so this broke a little more naturally. Let me try that again. All right, so both hammers are back. We'll pretend I fired off a shot. The next one's loaded and ready to go. Let's check the reset. All right, about the same distance in going back. I think the single action is slightly lighter. It's a slightly crisper, slightly lighter trigger on that, but really not as much as I would have expected. All right, let's do some shooting and see what we think. All right, this is the LEM. Let's go for that top one. All right, that's 5 shots. The LEM, I should point out, does not have a safety either. So I'm just going to keep this, but it also is decocked automatically. I should have pointed that out when I let go of the hammer. I'm going to decock it, so the first shot will be double action just like it was in the other one. But of course, it's not really going to be the same because it's double action, not with pre-cocked. All right. So the resets on these are almost identical. The creep, I'm sorry, to the wall is a very similar travel. The creep is the same. I gotta say, they're almost identical. Very, very similar. This gun is so ergonomic. It does not have a beaver tail with a sharp-ass spike on the end of it, which you know I hate. So it's very comfortable in appendix style. Also, by having that hammer and the hammer being forward when it goes down, I can easily put my thumb over the hammer when I holster. And if for some reason a shirt tail or something should get into there and it starts to actuate the trigger, I'll feel it. I'll know, because there's I can absolutely feel anything that's happening on that hammer, and I will stop because I don't want any part of that. So I love having hammers on my carry guns, especially if I'm going to carry an appendix. I really think that's a very safe mode to carry. Appendix, there's people who tell horror stories of appendix, and I can see why. But this is something that really helps to mitigate the potential fears that people have, I think. Being able to actually feel the hammer and make sure that it's all the way down while holstering. So that's nice. The nicely rounded end back here, although it's thick, it actually fits nicely I've got a couple different holsters that I use with it. And when I bend over, this is so much more comfortable to me than, say, this. If I take my CZ Shadow 2 Compact and use this in the appendix position. Now, granted, I'm fat. I'm working on it. Come on, Ozempic, do your thing. But I'm going to use all my YouTube money to get Ozempic. Anyway, this sharp edge is really traumatic to me. So not having that makes me happy. So the gun is ambidextrous completely. The magazine release is the paddle type, on the trigger guard. So that's completely ambidextrous. The slide release is the same on both sides. Now, that's the one other negative. There was that negative. I don't know anybody. Actually, you know what? I haven't tried it on this gun. Yep. There's a rattle. There's a rattle. Everybody who has this long slide, and it's not the one on the left side. It's the passenger side here, over on that they put on for you crazy lefties. Yeah, the one on the left side is firm on both of them. But everybody I've talked to, there's nothing wrong with it. It works fine, but it's got a little bit of a rattle. It doesn't do it while it's holstered. I don't have a problem with that. But right now, I feel like I got a pair of maracas here. I don't know how well you can hear that. Anyway, that doesn't affect anything, but it's just something that I noticed, especially a company like HK, which builds quality stuff. So anyway, thank you, HK, for not putting spikes on the end of this. And I love this LEM trigger. I have to say, it's from a carry perspective, it's sort of the whole enchilada. It's it's got the safety feature of the long pull. It's got the consistency in the fact that every shot you take is identical, and it's light, so it's not that helps with your accuracy. And you really can use it as a double action. I'm sorry, as a single action after your first shot, because if you keep the hammer, if you keep the oh wait, this actually is a single action. If you hold the hammer back, hold the trigger back while that after the first shot, you're basically taking a single action shot. You're just going to your reset, coming back to the wall, and firing. It's a little long, but it's also a little long. It's the same as it is, I think, on the single action. Now, I will say, in the range portion of this, and I think this is more of a sight issue, but I'm not sure. I did shoot a little bit better with the double action, single action. So, but I prefer the double action only, or the LEM, which is weird because it's really not double action only. It's heavy double action, light double action, and then you even really sort of have single action after that with riding it. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to put this out there because I get a lot of questions about this gun, and I think it's an outstanding gun. I think it's a great choice. There's just so many pluses with it. And because it's sort of older, people forget about it. You know, they think about the P30, the L with John Wick, you know, because John Wick and DoctorTactical, you know, both big names in HK. He's got the L. I'm big on the P30SK. And that's it. That's all I got for you. I'm Dr. Tactical. Dr. Tactical, out.